AskReddit by Jaketha Snake 954. Serious, men of Reddit who have been raped by women. What's your story? Attention. Serious, tag notice. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted. https://www.reddit.com/r/wiki/wiki_rule_6- closed comment parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose !2 =r AskReddit if you have any questions or concerns. I was drugged. I went over to a friend's house and we were supposed to go to a house party together. She asked if I wanted to pre-party, and I was like, yeah. So we took shot, then she offered me some weed. I took a hit and as I exhaled, I suddenly woke up naked, under her on a bed, and she was going to town. She looked me in the face and said, "Are you okay?" "Oh, you better be okay." Fuck, then I blacked out again, and woke up in the yard. About 4 hours had passed and I had the worst headache in the world for another day or so. Went to the doctor and they confirmed I had rohypnol in my system. Never spoke to her again. My girlfriend left me over it. I went into the worst depression of my life and attempted suicide over it. Fortunately, a family member found me and took me to the hospital, where they saved my life and forced me into a mental evaluation where I ultimately entered regular therapy. I've told exactly 3 people about this: 2 therapists and 1 really close friend. If the conversation came up, I think I'm strong enough to tell anyone now though. Between the ages of 7-11 my sister used to take me into her room and do things to me. First it was just touching my privates and making me touch hers, but it escalated from there. Never told anyone about it and still haven't 6 years later. Thankfully I live on my own now and have cut off all ties with my family. Sucks man, but it is what it is. My older sister did that to me from the ages of 4 until 12 years old. I finally spoke up about it in my 20s, but at that point I was a full-blown heroin addict. And was mostly telling people because I was so angry about everything and justifying my drug use too. I finally was able to talk to my sister who did this to me. And I knew she was being raped by someone, but I didn't find out till years later. And she's been dead now 2 years from an overdose. Just know you're not alone. These things happen to us and we live with it our entire lives. I do a lot of therapy for my complex childhood trauma. I hope you find what you need to get through life. And just know you're not alone. Even when you're alone. I, then 11-yo, got dragged into a closet when I and my parents were visiting their friends. The rapist was their daughter, then 16. She proceeds to remove my clothes. I tried to sort of struggle away, but she pinned me and said, "You don't want your parents to know you're in here with me. You'll get in trouble." So I sort of stopped fighting it. When she got me naked, she starts to jerk me off and put her finger in my ass. I could not yet ejaculate. All that happened was just painful, and to this day I don't let anyone near my ass. She only stopped because her parents called for us to come eat dessert. I truly do not know how none of the adults saw that I had tears in my eyes, but I guess they had been drinking. After that I would always stay by the table with my parents when we went there. When I was 13 I got to stay at home and play WoW every time they went there, and have not met her again since. Told my sister a few years after and she did not believe me, since I've just put it in the past until this comment. It's such bullshit when anyone who was raped doesn't get support. I'm sorry for you. I was repeatedly sexualized, molested, and raped by a 13-year-old babysitter from the ages of 9 to 11. She forced me to do unspeakable things to her, and if I didn't she'd hurt my genitals. Jesus. I'm sorry. Had a woman crush a bunch of Xanax up and put it in my beer. I was clueless that she did it. I blacked out after the beer and came to with her on top of me and her fiancé freaking out. She was trying to make him mad because they were fighting. He was freaking out because he walked in on it happening, and on top of that I wasn't responding. When he realized how messed up I was, he helped me get home. I couldn't speak coherently or even walk, so he practically carried me to his car. He called me the next day to check on me and tell me that she told him what she did to me. Him and I are still friends 15 years later, and neither of us have spoken to her since. I tried to press charges and he went and gave the witness statement. The cops laughed at us and never even tried to investigate it. Holy shit. All I have to say is this is fucking terrible and holy shit. I was 12 and my family and friends went on a cruise. Met some other kids at the teen club that had alcohol, so why not? Then hot tub, then back to room to hang. Older girl, maybe 16-17, was flirting, but I wasn't really at that point in puberty where I was interested, also a virgin. I got tired of all the people and ended up falling asleep. Woke up to a dark room and her going down on me. I was pretty out of it and wasn't sure what was going on. Pushed her off and went back to sleep. She didn't stop. Not the best way to lose your virginity. It's incredibly sad to me how many male friends of mine have said this was how they lost their virginity, passed out at a party, and woke up to being raped. Unfortunately, you're definitely not alone. Hope you were able to overcome this experience. It's awful that someone thought they had the right to do that to you. Was waiting until marriage to have sex. Made it to 20 years old before drugged and raped by 2 girls from the base I was stationed at. They did it for bragging rights because it was well known I was a virgin. Sent me into a dark downward spiral of depression and drinking and drug abuse. Been clean and sober for almost 2 years now. Edit. Wow. Thank you everyone for the kind words. To the people DMing me saying how lucky Kui was that happened to me. I hope you stub your baby toe today. Keep it going strong, my guy. I was 10. She was 13 and looking after me whilst my mother was at work. I was already in a shitty place because my mother was physically, emotionally and verbally abusive towards me. I was forced into intercourse that day. I froze and she took advantage. I developed CPTSD, depression and anxiety from that event, which, coupled with my so-called mother, led to a suicide attempt at 14. I didn't talk to anyone about it until I was 28. I'm in a far better place now. When I was 16, a girl who I believed to be my friend who was 5 years older than me got me shit-faced drunk. I basically passed out and she started kissing me and groping my unconscious body in front of everybody while no one did anything because they thought it was hilarious. She was a severely overweight emo back then. God knows what else she did to me and I don't intend to know about it. I woke up the next day covered in vomit and everyone was making fun of me. Turns out this girl had done this several times to other guys of my age. Kept doing it. Everyone turned their back on me, got grounded by my parents for months and heavily bullied at school. Took me years to understand and confront everyone about the fact that I was publicly abused and it went off as a joke. Edit. Whoa. Never thought anyone would actually read about this. Thanks for your kind words, the messages and interest. Don't worry, I'm 28 now and have worked this out over therapy, and by standing up for myself. Got a group of supporting and real friends and can say it doesn't affect me the way it used to, but can't deny they were really tough times. God, that sucks. It's a cruel society we live in, bro. Hopefully you're doing fine and having your best life. 14 years old, invited round an older friend's house to drink and watch TV. Her older, 22F, sister arrived, drunk as a skunk. Took a liking to me, took me back to her old room, told me to take off my clothes and proceeded to assess my body before using it to get herself off. Friends hated me, lived extremely rurally and lost any kind of friend I had. But it was okay. Everyone at school thought I was glad shagging some older bird. Girlfriend left me, and it always cropped back up as a reason for people to disregard me, etc. Was me second sexual experience after a childhood of sexual abuse. Fantastic. Therapy helps. Telling people helps. Talk my friends, it's okay to not be okay. Thank you for sharing your story. I hope you're okay, man, wherever you are. I was given a really large bump of ketamine at a party many years ago. When I came around, the girl was on top fucking me. If the shoe was on the other foot, it would have absolutely been rape. Even this way round, it's rape. I am so sorry. I was 13Y and was sleeping in my bed. My mom came from a party and a friend of her, 40Y maybe, stayed to sleep over. When my mother was already sleeping, she came to my room and touched my genitals. I woke up frightened and couldn't react for the first seconds. I pushed her and told her to go away. She tried to kiss me, but I pushed her again. She finally went to her room. I never told that to my mother, and my friends just told me that I should have done something with that woman. Deleted. I was a child and she was my mother. Don't remember it much, but what I do during flashbacks is every bit as horrible as one can imagine. Decided to press charges much later when I found out she had done the same thing to my younger brother. Out of 20-ish charges initially, she was convicted on one and only the physical assault. She got parole. I was no better off after seeking justice. In fact, it just made me more angry and bitter. I'm sorry for you and your brother. What an inhuman pose to do this to her own fucking children. I don't know in which country you live, but their judicial system is totally fucked up. I totally understand your anger. I hope the better for you too, my boy. We had eaten a bunch of painkillers. She told me she wanted to fuck. I was enjoying my buzz and told her no. She gave me head while I told her to stop. After I didn't get hard, she grabbed me by throat and told me I was going to fuck her one way or the other, and repeatedly tried to jam my flaccid dick in her until she used a hairband as a cock ring. I wasn't into it, didn't want it, and didn't like that she went out and told everyone afterward that we fucked because I was making it a point not to fuck her because I was interested in someone else. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I could not imagine trying to sleep with a guy who isn't into it. I remember being at a party, kind of dancing with a guy. I was drunk, so I turned around and saw he was cute and was like, I'm gonna kiss him. So I did, and it was totally one-sided, and I got super embarrassed and uncomfortable and walked away. So how anyone goes through all this trouble when someone clearly isn't into it is beyond me. Neighbor's daughter used to bribe me with candies when I was 7 to go do stuff like how the grown-ups do in movies. As a kid, I thought score easy candy for free. Now I realize she was just taking advantage of me. I used to babysit for my neighbor across the street when I was 14. One night his mum, who must have been around 37 at the time, came back on her own. She had fallen out with the husband, who decided to stay out drinking. I wanted to leave as it was about 1 AM, but she hadn't paid me, so I stuck around hoping she would bring it up. She was very drunk and kept banging on about her husband, and then she put her head on my shoulder. Obviously at this point I was feeling very uncomfortable with the situation. She then looked and she started kissing me. I didn't really know what to do. I think I blacked out at that point for a few moments trying to process what was going on. She then grabbed my hand and stuck them up her skirt. I had no idea what the fuck to do. I'd never done anything like that as I was a kid. She then kept trying to pull me upstairs and I kept asking what for, and she just kept laugh. She used the fact that she hadn't paid you as a form of control. What a bitch. My TLDR is that I had a virgin chick fuck me when I was mega drunk. It got made into a cartoon with 500,000 views, and I still get comments to this day calling me gay, and that guys would have begged to be in my position. https://www.youtube.com/watch?DZ1NMMG34JI. It's a great cartoon. Who knows how many people you've helped. I admire your strength. Mine is a bit different because I finally said yes. I didn't want to, but it seemed easier than keep telling her no. She had a thing for me for a while and kept getting more persistent, and one night had a bunch of people over and she made sure everyone left before her. Then she just kept asking and I finally said yes to get her to stop. The sex was terrible. She told everyone about it the next day. Found out she had done the exact same thing to a friend of mine a few months before. We both feel gross about it because neither of us wanted it, and had the genders been reversed everyone would call the dude not taking no for an answer a creep. My friend and I are both fine. Nobody is scarred from it. The girl actually tried again and I got mad at her and shut her completely down. Then I was called an asshole because you've already done it before. Double standards are wild. This is sexual coercion and is definitely rape. Was 13. Back visiting my ancestral country. I live in the UK and I'm a citizen. Country is uber religiously conservative. Was visiting paternal family and others from that half came along. Had to share beds with cousins due to space restrictions. 2 of them, in their 20s, were kissing and fondling me under the covers at night, and a third ended up actually managing to piv rape me, keeping me quiet mostly under fear of waking everyone up. If I had complained or made a noise, I almost certainly would have been blamed as the guy, despite being 13, due to culture and religious reasons. I didn't realize the seriousness of what was going on at the time, but in retrospect it fucked me up. I became a hollowed out shell of an adult, unable to even hold conversations where before I was a quiet but friendly and confident child and preteen. It especially fucked up my concept of self-worth and sexual development too, and I am deathly afraid of and overwhelmed by any form of sexual intimacy, despite wanting that connection. I'm hoping now that I'm a bit older, 28, and independent, I can finally go get proper therapy for it, especially before I start dating people. I've avoided relationships entirely to this day. I was raped by my sister at the age of 6. She was 9. Obviously this isn't normal, and she only did it because she had been raped since she was 4 years old by our grandfather. She did it because she learned that that's how you show love. I've never really considered myself a victim, and I've never seen her as a perpetrator.